Back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. Joining us now on the Bobby V's hotline, six-time gold medalist Amy Van Dyken. She was on the call for NBC Sports calling the Olympic swimming. Amy, how are you, dear?
I am awesome. Rob, it's so good to talk to you.
Absolutely. All right, so before we get into the 2024 Olympics, I want to ask you, how many races do you do in a season leading up to like qualifying to get on the Olympic team? And then once you make the team, how many races do you have to like win at the Olympics to try to even medal?
Well, leading up to the Olympics, they probably have, within the 4-year period, they will have another World Championships long course, another World Championship short course. They will have probably 8 to 10 tier races a year. So 40 of those, and then you go to Olympic trials if you qualify, and in order to make the team, you have to get first, and then if so many people make more than one event, then the second place person will come. But it's a pretty gnarly way to get to the Olympics.
That's what I was thinking. So how much practice goes into that? And explain when you were an Olympic swimmer leading up to it, how many calories you had to eat, how much, and you were doing the sprints. I mean, you weren't doing some of these long races, but how many, your heart rate, some of this stuff, your husband told me some of this stuff. He was worried about you physically because how hard you were working. So explain to the listeners how grueling it is just to get in shape, get ready to even try to be an Olympic swimmer.
So we train in the water 2 times a day. Each time is 2 to 2.5 hours, depending upon what you're doing. And then you have another at least hour in the weight room a day. We do that 6 days a week. We get Sundays off. We get 2 weeks off a year. And you were talking about the calories, Dibs. Oh, my God, it was mortifying when I met my husband. We went on our first date because I was still training, and I had to eat 5,000 calories in order to just maintain my weight. So, yeah, that was mortifying when I just was like, yeah, I'll have a salad and a steak. And the guy was like, I remember you. You're the girl that got the appetizer, the entree, and the dessert, and you ate it all yourself. I'm like, thanks, dude. Thanks, man. Shocking he married me, but it's all good.
Put into perspective the winning that Kay Ledecky is doing and like the blowing out of the competition that she is doing. Like how I can't relate to this and what she's doing in the pool in these Olympics.
You know what's funny? I can't relate to it either. She's doing something that is absolutely unheard of. So, let's look at the women's 50 free, right? So between second and fifth, I think was like 0.2 of a second. And so you would have to actually win the 50 free by over a second in order to make it as dramatic as what Katie's doing. Absolutely unheard of. She is the GOAT. She has actually even said she's going to keep going and go to the 28 Olympics if she can make it. Now, remember, she started in 2012 as a 15-year-old. So we're going to see her all the way through her teens, her 20s, and into her 30s. It's nuts.
So explain as you get in, like watching her swim, like the 1,500 meters, it's almost like she's doing some different kicking underneath the water. Like, when you're sprinting, it's nonstop. But for her, she's got to pace herself. Explain what motion she's doing as we're watching her kind of like flex her leg and like push it. It's like propulsion. It's crazy watching her swim.
She's nuts. If you watch her underwater, her stroke is absolutely perfect. So, Rob, you were talking about her kick. So let's talk about that. Sprinters do a constant kick, right? Because you have to. When you're a distance swimmer, swimming the mile, you don't want to use your legs that much because your legs are the biggest muscle. They need the most oxygen, but you need oxygen for your lungs. So she does what's called a 2-beat kick. So it just goes like dun, 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 dun. But when she takes a breath, she does it like dun, 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 dun. It's very hard to explain what she's doing, but then you get into her core. She has complete connection from her fingertips to her tippy toes. So she's completely balanced. If you were to put her on a ball and have her do her stroke, you could not knock her off the ball. It is absolutely incredible. Her stroke, I talk about it. She puts her hand in the water, pitches her fingertips down, hands are relaxed, and she gets her elbow up, which engages her lat, and does a motion that looks like you go over a wine barrel. Think about when you grab onto the side of a corner of a table and you're sitting on a chair with wheels, which is easy for me, harder for other people because I'm in a wheelchair, and you pull yourself through, that's basically what she's doing and what it feels like. She's incredible. She can keep splits that are exactly the same per 50, which, why is that incredible? Try to just grab a stopwatch and have like the same splits every single time. She's crazy. She's unreal. I don't think she's human. We don't have testing for that, but we may need to.
What is the drop-off year in your world? You know, in NFL, running back, 30 years old. We were just talking about cornerback being right around 30 years old. For the swimmer, when does it fall off the map?
You know what, Rob? We have literally not seen this. So we know that women get their full lung capacity, muscles, skeletal growth in their early 20s. So we thought that was the end of it. We had a sprinter this Olympics who was 30 years old, and she won the 50 and the 100. Now, albeit Katie Ledecky swims longer races, but still, I think that we may see Katie Ledecky go into her early, maybe even her mid-30s. And I still think she's going to be dominant as she is now.
I used to, when we worked together, I looked at pictures of you when you were swimming, and your body is just ridiculously strong. Your upper body, your torso. Katie Ledecky's torso is so ridiculous. She's 6 feet tall. I mean, is there any downtime for this woman? I mean, is there any, like you said, you get 2 weeks off. She's leaving the Olympics, but is she going to go right back to swimming? She talked about all the men that she trains with in Florida. I mean, what's her life like when she's not in the pool?
Well, I think, Rob, okay, listen, a normal human being would take like a month, maybe 2 months off and then get into training. Katie Ledecky is probably going to get back in the pool as soon as she gets back to Florida. But she trains with some beasts. I mean, we saw Bobby Fink also win the mile, and the way that he did it was very Katie Ledecky-like. He just started sprinting from the beginning, and nobody else could keep up with him. Like, that's basically what she's doing. It's absolutely crazy. But, yeah, she's probably not going to take much time off at all. She loves swimming. Her life, probably for her, she's got her friendships, so she can go out after Saturday morning practice, but she'll probably be a little tired. Sunday she's got off, but she probably uses that to recover. So I'm going to guess that the majority of her life is either training or recovering, trying to get ready for the next practice.
Who is the next one in line? I loved watching the story of Kate Douglas. I know she's 22. A lot of these other Team USA stories were they just totally captivated me and fell in love with some of these ones. But who is the next Katie Ledecky that's like waiting in the wings?
Well, you got, as you said, Kate Douglas. She can swim anything from the 50 free all the way up to the 200 breast and the 200 IM, as we saw. And she could probably medal in all of those events, the 50 free, the 100 free, the 200 free, and then the 100 breast, the 200 breast, all of it, all the things. So she swims all the things, and she's really good at it. Also, we've got a sprinter in Gretchen Walsh, who got fourth this Olympics. She's got the world record in the 100 butterfly. I really see her coming up. And then Katie Grimes, who also swims the distance events, but she's way younger than Katie, and she's been on Katie's heels. I mean, as close to Katie's heels as we can get. She's been on her heels for a few years now. So those are the probably bright stars on the women's side.
Let's talk about you growing up. Severe asthmatic, you were allergic to chlorine, and you had trouble swimming across the pool. Explain growing up for you and how you became an Olympic gold medalist.
So growing up was tough. As you said, I'm allergic to everything. I've got severe asthma. And I was diagnosed with dyslexia in 11th grade, which that was a problem. So, listen, I was a problem child. I'm 6 feet tall. I weighed 128 pounds. I was a tall, skinny, asthmatic dork. But I loved swimming. I wasn't good at it at all. But then once I started getting good at it, then the girls didn't like me. So that was a problem. And then I just decided, listen, I don't really care who likes me or not. I love this sport, and I'm going to keep doing it. And a few years later, there we go. I still have that record of the, 4 gold medals. I thought it was going to get broken. I thought maybe Simone Biles had a chance. I also thought that Gretchen Walsh might have had a chance to be the first woman to win 5. It didn't happen. It'll happen in 28. I'll be there. I can give the hugs.
Well, you were at the NBC studios covering this Olympics and 2024 Paris. You've done this before. Take us behind the scenes at the NBC studios. What is it like when they're covering the Olympics in so many sports, especially with the time zone and everything like that? What was your experience like this time around?
So, it's really interesting because you get put in a hotel and it says everyone shut up because everyone's on different schedules. We are all on Paris time, living in Connecticut, so we called it Paris, Connecticut. It was wonderful. And, it's just a lot of fun. You're with a whole bunch of people who are calling different sports. I lived at the Olympic Training Center from 94 until 2000, so I had some friends that I knew from different sports, volleyball, waterball. That's a new sport.
I like it.
Waterball.
Yeah, right. Waterball, water polo, and wrestling. And they were all there. Like, it's just so much fun. Everyone is so into it. All the TVs are, on all of the Olympic sports that are going on. It is probably the best experience that you could ever have as a broadcaster.
How is our swim team stack up against the rest of the world?
I think our team right now, we have some growth. We have a lot of swimmers who are probably going to retire after these Olympics that have really been holding down those gold medal places. So we've got a lot of youngsters that need to come up and into those spots and take up those leadership roles. If they do that, I see that our team in the future will be unstoppable. I mean, our team this Olympics, we didn't get the medals that we wanted, but we swam well. I say we like I swam there. No, they swam well. And, they ended on such a great note with, 4 gold medals in the final day. And I just think that it just bodes well for the U.S. for the future.
Would you swim in that river?
Probably, yeah. Story time. I was golfing one time, and this morning shock jock radio guy was like, "Hey, I'll race you across the water hazard on 18." Well, he didn't think I was serious that I would take his $100, but I was like, "It's $100, and I need beer." So we pull up to the 18th hole, and he's standing there. I looked at my husband Tom, and I'm like, "Here we go!" And I just whipped off my hat, my shirt. I had a jog bra on. Whipped off my socks. I dove into the water. I won his $100. So hell yeah, I would swim in that river.
Oh my goodness. Thoughts on Simone Biles when you're watching someone like that? I mean, listen, you're a 6-time gold medalist, and I have so much respect for you. When you watch someone like her do what she does, had kind of the I don't even know what you call it when she didn't want to get on the mat and the bounce beam and stuff like that. Twisties to come back from all of that and be as good as she is. Just your thoughts on that.
Simone Biles is in that Katie Ledecky category where we need to test for being not human because what she's doing is absolutely unbelievable. And you could tell that it is by all the stars that are there watching her. She does things on the mat, on the beam, on the bars that we've never, ever seen before, and we may never see for quite some time. This young lady is such a talent. I also am very grateful that she brought, that mental health aspect into the Olympics. I think it's very, very important for athletes. So I think that she is just perfection.
What were some of your other favorite moments that were non-swimming?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, listen, we got swimmers that are sleeping in parks because the beds are so uncomfortable.
That's the theme, though, isn't it? Like, the beds are never comfortable at these Olympic villages.
Well, listen, we used to have actual beds, so they were not bad. But then the rumor got out that, if you hand out condoms to athletes, they may be used. Yeah. So they put the mattresses on boxes, which is so uncomfortable. Also, there's no air conditioning. It's so loud in there because, everyone's all hyped up and everything. You can't sleep. The United States and Australia bring in their own cooling system, so, fancy pants. But yeah, it's just the Olympic Village is just a hot mess. All
right, so what's next for you? Now you did the Olympics. Now you've been doing college swimming and stuff like that. What's next for you?
So I'm going to continue doing my motivational speaking, and we have got a couple of tier swim meets that I may have on deck, but until then, I am just looking forward to calling the ACCs again, and we'll see what happens with the Pac-12, which is now the Pac-2.
Yeah.
And, just continue doing that, but just having fun and, texting Rob in the middle of the night, stupid jokes. It's great. His wife loves it.
Have you thrown out any first pitches for the Diamondbacks? They're 5 games away from the Dodgers right now, doing good.
I know they are, and here's the thing. If you remember, last year they were, not doing so great in the old NLCS, and then Van Dyken gets up there and shot the ball. I didn't even throw it. I didn't even want Rob to know that I did it because I was like, it was so horrid. I don't even want him to know he would kill me. But I shot-putted the ball, and then they went on their winning streak. So I think I probably need to do it again because I would love to do that. It was so much fun.
For people who don't know, your husband's Tom Ruin, 2-time Super Bowl champion, went to Colorado and won a national championship. What does he think of Deion Sanders and what he's doing up in Colorado?
Deion, see, here's the thing. He and I have different views on this, so it's hard. And, Rob, you know me. It's hard for me to my face is very loud.
You got a
it's very
view.
loud right now. Yeah. I know. I wish you could see it. Listen, anytime that someone can bring attention to a program, he thinks it's great. He loves it because, his school's getting all sorts of attention. So, it's great. I don't know how much longer it will last, but go Deion. I think Snoop Dogg should be the next coach. Come on, man.
I agree. How cool was that? Like having Snoop and Flavor Flav with what he's doing with the women's water polo. Like I thought that those two elements of this Olympics, it's not over yet. We're going to get more of those guys, but I thought that was fantastic.
It's hilarious, too, because, you've got all these mothers that are like, oh, my gosh, Snoop Dogg is there. I love him. And I was like, Mom, you grounded me for buying his CD back in the day. Stop it.
Let me ask you about real quick water polo. We watch under the water how vicious it is and stuff like that. What's it like for the water polo teams? How much time did they spend in the pool? And do you respect them for having to sit there and float in the water forever?
Water polo players work, probably as much as swimmers do. I don't know that they're in the pool as much, but they're in the pool a lot, and what they do is absolutely gnarly. I mean, any sport where they have to check your fingernails and your toenails to make sure that they're not too long or sharp.
I did not know.
Did not know that.
I want to watch.
Really?
Right? You didn't know.
I did not know that. So it's like a pitcher coming off the field. They're checking your hands?
Yeah. It's the same thing, dude. It's like, you get it, right? Like, so they can really do some damage in there. And any sport that does that is a sport for me. That's why I like baseball.
There you go. You are the best. Love you, dear. Give Tom my love. Thank you so much for giving us a few minutes today.
Thank you, Amy.
You got it. You guys are awesome. Dibs, love you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Amy Van Dyken, 6-time gold medalist, everybody. We'll take a quick break, come back, and do First Dibs.